quilting friend, it is your quilting friend Emily, and I am back with another tutorial on how to make a quilt block. Now, this quilt block is called Shades of Love. This is an ombre type feel when it comes to a heart colored block, and you could absolutely choose any colorway that you want. It doesn't have to be shades of pinks and reds. It could be literally any colorway that you love. Hence the name Shades of Love, designed by yours truly. This block holds a very special place in my heart because it reminds me of how our quilting connects us all together. I am going to guide you through how to sew this step by step, and if you love sewing with amazing, kind, and caring quilters, I am personally inviting you to joining us during the Quilting Your Legacy Tabletopper Club, where we are going to sew this exact block step by step together. And this is all happening on the very first Sunday of the month. But also the pattern and sewing guide and quilt kit are available right in the show notes and right on the website. I cannot wait to start sewing, so let's go ahead and start sewing right now. Okay, we are going to first create some half square triangles. To create our half square triangles, we are going to need a ruler. We are also going to need a friction pen or a pen in general to be able to draw a line from point to point, which I'm going to show you that in a little bit of detail in a moment. And we need our two fabrics. For this particular block, we are going to be using the background color fabric, and we are going to be using our dark red fabric, which is going to be the very bottom, the very point of our block. So first, what we're going to do is we are going to take our half square triangle. We're then going to choose a color of our friction pen. You could use a pencil, you use a regular pen if you wanted to, but the cool thing about these friction pens is that once we are done sewing, all we need to do is take our iron and we are going to iron the ink right off of our fabric. First step in creating the half square triangle is that we are going to line up our ruler from point to point. Then we're using our friction pen or pencil, we are going to draw a line a quarter of an inch away from that point. We're then going to flip it right around. Place that ruler yet again right on top of the fabric, and again right on the corner, and yet again we are going to draw our line from point to point, so that way we have two lines going right down. The lines that we just drew on, those are going to be our stitch line. Okay, so away we stitch. Okay, so now that we have our block all set and sewn, let's go ahead and cut right between our two stitch lines. Then we're going to press our seams, and then we are going to square up the block to the desired size. Let's go ahead and cut right between those two lines right now. So I'm just setting these to the side. I've got my mat right here. I'm going to use the back side. That way you can see exactly what I am doing. So first step, I'm lining up my seam allowance right on top of that quarter-inch line there. Then I am using my rotary cutter. I am cutting away right between our two stitch lines so that we now have two half square triangles. Okay, so now that we have our half square triangles, we're going to go ahead and set our rotary cutter, rotary ruler, and our rotary cutter right side. Then we are going to take our half square triangle and we are going to press our seam open. I do find that when I press my seams open, creating the half square triangles, that it just lays a little bit flatter because we are going to next square up this block to create it into our desired size. And because we have two of them, we have to go ahead and do that exact same step yet again, pressing our seams open. Now that we have our half square triangle, next we are going to take our rotary cutter, our rotary mat, and our ruler yet again, line up this black line here going all the way up, and I'm making sure that I have extra because you'll notice this is my 5.5 inch, this is my 5.5 inch, so all of this extra is what I will be cutting away because we don't need it. And that's the best part about cutting half square triangles, is that you make them larger to then make them smaller. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip this right around, and then yet again I am lining up this black line going all the way up the middle. Because we just cut at our 5.5 inch, I'm also making sure that this is down here is at 5.5 inches, and then same as up here. Bada bing, bada boom, we got it. Go ahead and cut. And then because we have two half square triangles, let's go ahead and square up the other one. Now that we have our two half square triangles, just to have fun, let's go ahead and put it the way that it is supposed to be. There we go. just like so. So we're gonna go ahead and set this to the side because next we are going to not do the middle. We are going to go jump right up to the tippy top. Now that we have our half square triangles done, again, we're just gonna set those right to the side because we are going to create the top of our heart next. So to do so, we are going to go ahead and take our color, the very light color of the pink. Then we are going to take our square and we are going to create the flying geese block. I'm going to show you right over here. That way you can see it up close and personal. So we are going to take the top of our block. We are actually going to use 2 of them. So let's go ahead and grab 2. Then we are going to take our square and we are going to do the flip stitch. Now, to do the flip stitch, we are going to sew from point to point going all the way down. And we can absolutely take the friction pen and take our ruler and draw a line from point to point, or we can just go ahead and sew from point to point. But just for educational purposes, let's go ahead and draw our line from point to point. And then for the other one, I just won't draw the line. Okay, so that is going to be our sew line. Again, we have our top of the light pink fabric. We have our background color fabric, which is what we just sewed. We are then going to go ahead and sew right on that line that we just drew. Then let's go ahead and sew, going all the way down. So now that we have that sewn, we are then going to take our scissors or our rotary cutter and we are going to cut 1/4 of an inch away. I'm just going to use my sewing scissors. Okay, so I'm just cutting 1/4 of an inch. Then yet again, we are going to take it right to the iron and then flip our stitch going right up. After we cut our 1/4 of an inch away, we are then going to iron our seams by flipping them up. Okay, so let's take our iron. We are flipping it up. And again, you will notice that that yellow marker that we just used, bada bing, bada boom, it is gone. So now that we have that sewn on, we are next going to take our other block and we are going to yet again sew from point to point going all the way down. All right, let's go ahead and sew from point to point yet again. And then again, we're just gonna cut 1/4 of an inch away from our stitch line. There we have it. This block is not only called the flying geese block, but it also completes the first half of our heart. So we're going to do that exact step onto the opposite side, taking our background fabric in the square, taking our light tippy top fabric, and grabbing 2 of our background fabric. And there we go. Okay, let's go ahead and sew. Now that we've got that sewn, let's go ahead and cut our 1/4 of an inch away from that stitch line. We're going to then go ahead and use the iron to flip that stitch going up. Don't you just love the flip stitch? Okay, so then once we have that, we're going to do that exact step yet again. Let's go ahead and ironing station. Here we go. We are flipping our stitch going up. Then we are taking our other square, putting it right on the opposite side. Let's go ahead and sew. You know the drill, everybody. Because we just got our background fabric sewn onto our light pink, our very tippy top color fabric, we are cutting away our 1/4 of an inch. We are then going to iron it. So now that we have 2 of them, we can now complete our block together. Let's go ahead and set these to the side so that we can create our heart block together. So this is what we just sewed. Then we are going to take our center fabrics, set them like that. Then let's just go ahead and grab our half square triangles so that we can complete our entire block together. We'll move our iron up. That way we can truly visualize it. So now that we have our block laid out just like so, we are next going to just take half of our block. We're going to sew this to this, this to this, iron it, sewing it again, this to this to this, ironing it. So let's go ahead and sew first half of our block right now. So we're just going to sew these together. We're going to take this like this. We're going to sew 1/4 of an inch. So again, we've got our tippy top sewing 1/4 of an inch going all the way down. Put that right to the side. Let's go ahead and sew the other side. We're just taking our 2. This is the top and the middle. That's center fabric. Okay, let's go ahead and sew our 1/4 of an inch. Okay, now that we have this sewn and now that we have this sewn, let's go ahead and grab our bottom. So this is our half square triangle. Maybe for a little bit larger, here we go. So we have our top sewn onto the middle. Next, we are going to take our half square triangle and we are going to sew it on the very bottom. Oh, careful that we don't let it fall. Okay, so let's go ahead and take them right sides together and yet again 1/4 of an inch zipping all the way down. It's getting all the way down to the end. I'm just going to take this off with the sewing machine. Look how cool. Okay, so we have half of our heart already sewn. I'm just going to set this right to the ironing station. Then we are going to grab our other half. Let's make sure that we have it sewn. This is what we just sewed right here. We're going to go ahead and take this side, and I'm just going to bring this down just like so. And then we are going to sew our 1/4 inch yet again. Okay, look how stinking cute. Okay, so now we have both of our hearts for the heart block. Look how cute this is. Let's go ahead and press our seams. Now I am going to press my seams open just to make sure that they lay nice and flat. I want to make sure that I give it a nice crisp pressing. So I'm just lingering a little bit longer. Half of the heart is pressed. Let's go ahead and press the opposite side. Yet again, I am pressing my seams open because when I sew the two hearts together, I just want to make sure that they are nice and as flat of the seams as they possibly can be. Let's go ahead and get this last seam all nice and pressed. Next, we're going to go ahead and sew our two hearts together. I absolutely adore this. Okay, let's go ahead and flip our two hearts right on top of each other. I am going to pin. Okay, let's go ahead and sew this yet again to complete our block. I can't believe we made it to the end. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and sew this yet again, 1/4 inch, zipping all the way down. Okay, we just completed the heart block. We are going to do one final pressing to it. Then, if you are creating the table topper, you will want to do this a total of 3 more times so that you have 4 of these adorable blocks. And I really hope that you join us in the Quilting Your Legacy Table Topper Club because we are going to be sewing this step by step together. Because let's be honest, sometimes when we sew, it is a solo sport, but it is not supposed to be. How fun to sew this with kind and caring, like-minded quilters. So I sincerely hope that you will join us. Let's go ahead and do our final pressing right now. Goodness, this is so cute. Now, you can absolutely go one side or the other, or you can press your seams open. I am going to press them going towards the left-hand side because this particular table topper is going to be flip-flopping the blocks so that one block is going to be going this way, the other block is going to be going the other way. When it comes to pressing your seams, you can absolutely choose. So there you have it. Oh, let's get this out of the way. Thank you so much, sewing machine. I appreciate you greatly, and I appreciate you for sewing this with me. Please, if you don't mind, giving this a thumbs up. That way, more people can see this amazing video. In addition to, make sure that you like, click, and subscribe. That way you never miss out on another tutorial on how to make something absolutely amazing. Because when it comes to quilting your legacy, remember that every stitch that you sew is a part of your story, your adventure. And projects like this make our quilting so special. Keep quilting your legacy one block at a time, and I will see you in the next video.